After spending a week with Borderlands Remastered, I am finally ready to give you guys my full review of the game. But before we start, I want to say that my opinions are in no way influenced by Gearbox whatsoever. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Now first of all, let's start with the pros. I came into this game with low expectations as the game came out 10 years ago. I was expecting to just barely finish both playthroughs, but man, this game not only met my expectations and not only exceeded them, it blew them away. In just 24 hours of the game, I had already maxed out my character and beaten all playthroughs and DLC. It's crazy just how good such an old game can be, and I can honestly say I had more fun playing this masterpiece than I had playing most AAA titles in the past few years. The price weighs in at around $30, and PC players who own the original get given an automatic free upgrade. The game looks and feels beautiful, and gunplay is fun again, and the game is just as hard as it was back in 2009. It's everything and more you could want from the looter shooter that started it all, and you know, calling this game a pioneer of the genre would be a huge understatement. I honestly can't begin to tell you guys just how much fun I had playing through the game, beating all of the DLCs and farming for legendaries again. There is so many cool additions added to the remaster, making it a solid game 10 years later. Like movement, which has been given a fresh lick of paint. Jumping has been redone, making movement feel less clunky, allowing players to bunny hop properly just like you could in the other games. And some very needed quality of life improvements have been added, such as auto pickup on health, money and ammo. Plus we get the addition of an FOV slider, which is an insanely huge improvement from the original and really makes the gameplay pop. You also get access to custom heads, a feature which was not in the original, and while the heads are very minor and mediocre to say the least, they fit the feel of the game very well and aren't over the top. We also get treated to the golden chest, a feature coming from Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, and I can honestly say it works great, especially now that it has the ability to drop legendaries. There is also now an added minimap which you are given the option to turn on or off, and you are also given the option to have it rotate or stay static, but I personally found the rotating minimap feels a little choppy when it rotates, but nonetheless it's still an amazing addition. I can't stress just how much of a breath of fresh air this game is. It breathes just enough life back into the franchise in order to get fans ready for Borderlands 3. For returning players, it feels just like the original and so much more, whereas for newer players it will feel like a dated shooter. However, I find it very important to say that if you are someone who has only played Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, going into this game expecting it to be a step up is the wrong thing to do. This game came out a decade ago and sadly it shows, as most parts of the game still feel lifeless and tedious. If you are someone looking into the Borderlands franchise, I recommend starting with 2 and going back to 1. This game, while it may be a great remaster, is a true test of fan loyalty to the casual gamer, as you may find it hard to be gripped by the game. Now let's get into the cons. There's a lot of stuff to go over here, but I'm excluding stuff that Gearbox have said they will be fixing in future updates, such as network issues, screen tearing and more. Firstly is the biggest one for me personally, and it's the lack of customization on console. When starting up the remaster on PC, you'll very quickly pick up the plethora of options for the game. However, the console counterparts don't match up. On consoles you can only change the FOV and brightness, and that to me is a major flaw. The remaster features a greatly enhanced depth of field effect, which really hurts my eyes to look at and makes gunfights annoying. Most times I found myself hip firing as I couldn't stand how intense the depth of field effect was. Another flaw for me is the patched glitches from the original, specifically the Cormorant's ledge glitch. For those unaware, the ledge glitch has now been patched partially and is super hard to get working. I have a problem with this mainly because in Borderlands 2 Son of Cormorant's DLC, we learn that the ledge is canon. And while I have found a workaround for this glitch which you can find on my channel, I still find it sad that the most iconic glitch from the original game has been ruined. Other glitches, however, like the Nox Armory glitch or the gift shop farm, have been left untouched, which is a huge relief. Another disappointing downside to the remaster is the lack of fast travel improvements, such as the T-Bone Junction ones in particular. The base game stations are fine and can stay how they are, however once the player reaches the true endgame and begins farming the armory for gear, they'll be disappointed to find out that they have to reload the game and drive all the way back there just to do it. This is a huge disappointment, as farming is a big part of the endgame, so having to keep driving back there every time really takes away from the whole experience. You may also be disappointed to learn that while most of the base game cutscenes have been redone in crisp 60 FPS, the DLC cutscenes have been left untouched, making them feel choppy and hard to watch. And while it would be a huge pain to go up and redo them, it is 100% a change that is needed in my opinion. Speaking of changes, the Destroyer boss fight has been redone, giving it a fresh new mechanic. They have also added a set of chests at the end of the fight that reward the player for beating the game. While the new mechanics are fun and make the fight way more intense, the nerfed health of the Destroyer really makes the fight feel a little bit too easy, and you may find it hard to not overlevel the final boss. So with all of that being said, let's summarise. Firstly, the gameplay has been overall improved and feels just as authentic as it once was, but it's missing in some areas. Regardless, it will still keep you playing for a very long time. Overall, it gets an 8.5 out of 10. Endgame content is still there and keeps you hooked as you become addicted to getting as much gear as possible in your never-ending quest of acquiring loot. And while farming is just as fun and still as rewarding, it is sometimes cut short by the lack of fast travel options for DLC areas. For that reason, it gets an 8 out of 10. The DLC is still just as fun as ever and really outshines the base game in terms of replayability. However, many areas feel you leaving like they were just given the lazy treatment, as most cutscenes and other areas show minor performance issues. Therefore, DLC gets an 8.5 out of 10, giving our final score for Borderlands 1 Remastered an average of 8.3 out of 10. However, due to Gearbox's transparency with the community and promise to provide regular updates, I am giving Borderlands 1 Remastered a 9 out of 10 in the hopes that it will continue to age well over time, just as the other installments in the series have done. This game will captivate returning fans and gain the interest of casual gamers looking to get into the Borderlands franchise. With such a cheap price and PC players getting a free upgrade if they own the original, you would be a fool to pass this one up. Seriously guys, go and get this game. You won't regret it. With that being said, that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy, a like is very much appreciated. This was my first time reviewing a game, so if you would, I'd like to hear your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.